Good morning, students. Let us continue with the story The Gift of Magi by O. Henry. So now Dela's beautiful hair fell about her, rippling and shining like a cascade of brown waters. As she undid the hair, they started falling down, furling and shining. It seemed as if a brown colored waterfall was falling down. It reached below her knee and made itself almost a garment for her. The length of the hair, approaching to the knees of Dela, and the body was covered by hairs as if she was wearing a brown colored garment. And then she did it up again, nervously and quickly. Then she collected the hairs once again. She was a bit nervous. Once she faltered for a minute and stood still while a tear or two splashed on the worn red carpet. For a moment, she hesitated and stood still while a tear or two splashed. She stood still, and meanwhile, one or two tears from the eyes of Dela, they fell down on the old red carpet. On went her old brown jacket, on went her old brown hat. She wore her brown jacket, old one. She also put her hat on the head, which was also brown in color. With a whirl of skirts and with a brilliant sparkle in her eyes, she fluttered out of the door and down the stairs to the street. She moved a bit. Still there was a brilliant shining in her eyes. She went out the door, downward the stairs to the street, where she stopped. The sign read, "Ma'am, so for me, here goods of all kinds." She stopped in front of a shop, and on the signboard there was written, "Ma'am, so for me, here goods of all kinds." One flight up Della ran and collected herself, panting. "Madam, large blue white chili hardly looked the saffron." She went upward. She stood there, collected her courage. She was gasping, and hardly she was looked by the owner of that shop, Sophorny. "Will you buy my hair?" asked Della. Della asked to that lady, "Will you purchase my hair?" "I buy hair," said Madame. "Take your hat off and let us have a sight at the looks of it." She said that, "Yes, I purchase hairs. Remove your hat. Let me have a glance of your hair." Down rippled the brown casket. As she removed the hat, once again, here they fell down, rippling, furling, as if a brown colored waterfall was there. $20, said Madame, lifting the mass with a practiced hand. She said that I can give you $20 for these hair. She was touching the hair, examining them with her hands. "Give it to me quick," said Della. "Okay, it is done. Quickly, give me $20. Oh, and the next 2 hours tripped by on rosy wings. After sailing here, after getting $20 for 2 hours, she passed quickly as if she was flying. Forget the haste metaphor. Writer says that a metaphor is used, just forget it. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. She was searching the stores, every store, thoroughly, as she was going to purchase a gift for Jim, to give him a present. She found it at last. At last, finally, she found that gift, that present. It surely had been made for Jim and no one else. As she looked at that particular article, she thought that it is meant for Jim only, no for nobody else. There was no other like it in any of the stores. She searched every store. In any other store, there was not any article of this kind. And she had turned all of them inside out. She had searched all the stores thoroughly, completely. It was a platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design. What was the article? It was a fob chain which was simple, sober design, properly proclaiming its value by substance alone. The value of the article was, it was substantial, and not by meritorious ornamentation. As other articles, they have their values as they are decorated by ornaments. It was a simple fob chain, just the material of which it was made it valuable. It was even worthy of the watch. As she looked at it, she thought that it is proper, it is worthy for the watch of the Jim. As soon as she saw it, she knew that it must be Jim's. As soon as she looked at this article, it was clear that this fob chain is meant for Jim only. It was like him, witness and value. It was just like the features of Jim. He was also calm and he was also having value. The description applied to both. These two features, they are applied to both Jim and the platinum fob chain. $21 they took from her for it. The shopkeeper, the storekeeper, he charged $21 for this chain. And she returned home with the 87 cents. After purchasing it, she returned to home, and what remained with her? Only 87 cents. With that chain on his watch, Jim might be properly anxious about the time in any company. She thought that after using this chain, Jim might be able to look at the watch, to know about the time, anywhere, anytime, or anybody's company. Grand as the watch was, he sometimes looked as it on the sly on account of the old leather strap that he used in place of a chain. There was no doubt that the watch was a splendid one. It was grand. He sometimes looked at it on the sly on account. Sometimes Jim looked at the watch in a very stealthily manner so that the other people may not notice the leather strap he used in place of chain. When Della reached home, her intoxication gave way a little to prudence and reason. When she returned back, the confused mind became calm and he started thinking something seriously. She got out her curling irons and lighted the gas and went to work repairing the ravages made by generosity added to love. Now she removed the curling irons, she lighted the gas, and she was just repairing the remainings on the head, the remaining hair on the head, which was the result of the generosity added to love, which is always a tremendous task, dear friends, a mammoth task. It is indeed a very difficult task to part with the most lovable thing of your life. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tiny close-lying curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. Within 40 minutes, there were tiny curls of hair on the head of Della, and she was looking like a bunking schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully and critically. She looked her image, her reflection in the mirror for the long time, quite carefully, and examined that image critically. If Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself, before he takes a second look at me, he will say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. If Jim is not going to be angry at the first sight, and if he looks second time at me, he will definitely praise it, appreciate it. He will say that you are looking like a chorus girl. But what could I do? Oh, what could I do with $1.87? She says that I was helpless. I could do nothing. I could not purchase any valuable gift for Jim when I was having just $1.87. Mark it here. Thank you very much.